afternoon or good morning, wherever you are, because I know I have followers all over the world. So, we're going to look at portion control and why it's important to understand portion control, macros, and tracking. I'm just going to touch on them, but really, this is about portion sizes and portion control. I don't always like to use the word portion control. I prefer to have people create awareness around portion sizes. And there's such misconstrued ideas out there about what is an appropriate size. And I'm specifically talking about females or women right now. Men, they get away with a lot of stuff, but this video is more focused on females. That's the majority of my following. So there are so many wrong ideas about portion sizes, to put it simply, and we get these even sublingual or subliminal messages from external factors between going to a restaurant to going to a friend or a family member's house and they put a plate in front of you, and of course you feel guilty if you don't eat everything, to advertisements on TV. We constantly, without knowing it, are getting told what we should eat and what is an appropriate portion size for us. And also, I have to touch on the aspect that when you discuss portion sizes or portions or portion control with anyone, just mentioning the words portion sizes or how are your portions or can we reduce your portions immediately attaches negative connotations to it. Most people immediately, when you discuss or even bring up portion sizes, they're immediately thinking, oh, I need to reduce my portion sizes for fat loss, or she wants me to reduce my portion sizes to reduce my calories, or she's trying to restrict my calories for fat loss, and all these kinds of ideas that come around when we discuss portion sizes. And really, that's kind of like the scales idea when you discuss the scales with someone. These are just negative ideas that we attach ourselves to certain words and concepts. The thing with portion sizes is just because someone may want to discuss your portion sizes or ask you to change your portion sizes doesn't necessarily mean that it is for pulling down your calories or pushing fat loss, because most of us know that that will not always work. So when we look at portion sizes, it's very important that anytime, well, I can't speak for every health professional, I can only speak for myself, but when I discuss portion sizes or portion control with anyone, it's generally because I've considered other things as well, like inflammation, like gut issues, like how is this stressing the body. I've also considered a person or a woman's size and height and everything like that. So it's not just that I'm saying I want to reduce your portion sizes because I want to push fat loss or reduce your calories. It's because I have taken other things into consideration too. So here's the thing. I mentioned that we get told subliminally, without even realizing it, what is the correct portion size for women. And one analogy I use all the time, and if you think about it, you're like, oh yeah, it makes total sense. Is that when you go into a restaurant with your husband or your friend or your dad or whoever it is, if you, for example, if you go into a restaurant with your husband and both of you ordered the exact same meal, they don't come out and give you a smaller meal. They give you the exact same size meal as your husband, and they definitely don't charge you less. They charge you the same. So that alone is saying, well, you can tolerate or manage the same size meal as your husband, who may be 6'5" and 200 pounds, and this is what they're saying, but you won't recognize it, and you might just be a small 5'2" woman, 150 pounds. So this alone tells you, well, this is okay. I need to eat all of this, especially if I'm paying for it. I need to finish it all. And even I've always used the example of chopped leaf. I do like some of the chopped leaf recipes or options. But the thing with chopped leaf is their starter size salad, that is a normal size for a woman. But most women will go in thinking they need to order the main size, that needs to fill them, that's the appropriate size. And this is very wrong. Now here's the thing, when we look at portion sizes, we have to consider a lot of stuff. Okay, I'm 5'6". I have a lot of clients that are in and around 5 foot tall. So if you take in, without anything else, if you take into consideration the height of a woman, and then you consider the general frame of most women, the general structure of our ribs and our rib to pelvic ratio, and you take in everything into consideration. You take into consideration that we also have a uterus. We also have ovaries in there. So straight away, they're taking up more room on the inside. We also have smaller stomachs as well. Women also, we have a lot more going on inside us than a man does. And even with our ribs, many of us know that when we get pregnant and have babies, that our ribs will expand. A lot of the time, they'll come back in, maybe not all the way, but they will then contract again. You consider that. And if you consider, well, I have less room in my body than my husband's, then my portion size should not be the same as his. Because if I try to stuff all of that in, what is going to happen? That is going to be a stress on your body. That is going to cause damage. It's going to force your stomach to extend. It's going to force your digestive system to work overtime and try to break down all this extra food that you should not be having, and your body is not designed to take in that amount of food. Like I said, regardless of your weight or your build, when we just look at the anatomical aspect of the average height of women, your body's not designed to take in that much food. So when you do stuff your body with that food, it's a stress. It causes physical damage. It contributes to tearing of the gastrointestinal tract. It contributes to stretching of the stomach. This is all going to be a big stress, and most of you know that when we eat, it takes away blood flow from most other areas of your body. So then healing and regeneration doesn't generally happen until we're not eating or we're fasting. So if you consider you're stuffing with extra food, sure, you're prolonging when you're actually healing and regenerating, because you're going to be so busy digesting this food that's also causing damage at the same time. And one of the big things that overfilling or stuffing your body will do, it'll drive up inflammation. And inflammation is a huge thing. So two things I talk about a lot, the two I's, inflammation, insulin. These are the main underlying causes of diseases and aches and pains and migraines and weight gain and struggles to lose weight. So this is very important. So when you are not eating appropriate portion sizes or amounts for you, there's a lot of stuff that's happening in the background that you don't realize. You don't just feel like you need to nap. There's a lot happening in here, and a lot of that is physical damage. And most people that work with me, they want to be their healthiest. They want to look their best. They want to have resiliency and beautiful hair and beautiful skin and everything. So this is why understanding portions is very, very important. And not only that, there's great value to be had understanding your portions. when I say we know as in health professionals and researchers and scientists, that a lot of the benefits or preventative benefits of preventing disease is it comes from either fasting, a lot of us know about that, but also calorie restriction. And in order to calorie restrict, you do have to limit your portion sizes. But this is where the health benefits come from preventing disease in the future as well. And even optimizing fat burning comes from reducing portion sizes and feeling that bit hungry. It's okay to feel a bit hungry. So many people are afraid to feel hungry, like they're scared of it, and back to those negative connotations. She's trying to starve me, or this is horrible, oh I'm dying, or they don't like to feel uncomfortable. And I know a lot of people in the whole coaching industry, so not just health coaching, talk about getting uncomfortable for growth, for progress, and that comes back to hunger as well. When we feel a bit hungry, we do stimulate ghrelin, we do stimulate human growth hormone. These both optimize fat burning, and not just that, all other anabolic processes as well. So understanding that portion sizes are very important. And I understand that it can be uncomfortable, and it does take a while to get used to it, but it can be done. It totally can be done. Once you start balancing those hormones, those hunger and satiety, and especially the blood sugars, the hunger just, you almost become nonchalant when it comes to hunger. Like, you don't even notice it. But you have to get over the difficult part, that uncomfortable stage, to get to the comfortable stage, and then you start reaping the benefits. But at the very least, I want you to understand the damage of overeating and what it causes. And like I mentioned, there's great value to understanding portion sizes, especially for you. So that doesn't mean you compromise on nutrition. That's a different thing. I'm talking about portion sizes. So when we reduce portion sizes, we don't have to compromise on nutrition at all. And nutrition is obviously where the help starts to come from. But when we look at that, there's also great value to be had with understanding macros, with tracking, so much value. And these are not things that you have to do forever. Like, you don't have to be conscious of your portion sizes forever. You don't have to track your macros or watch your macros forever. You don't even have to track forever if you don't like it. Some of us love it, some of us don't. But you have to do it for a while, because then I don't believe that you can get to a stage of intuitive eating without understanding what is correct for you in the first place. So this is why it's important to use these tools, because how could you get to a stage of intuitive eating where you're reaping the benefits and also making the progress that you want if you don't actually understand what's right for your body? So when we look at macros, we look at tracking, we look at portion sizes, after a couple of weeks, you will visually know. It'll just be intuitive to you. You'll know what is the correct portion size for you, what is the correct size protein, what is the correct amount of carbs. And that's not looking at micronutrients, but I don't ever pull back on micronutrients ever. So we don't compromise on dense nutrition. But visually, you will be able to see the right size plate for you and what should be on it and what are the right amounts. And with this, in order to get to that place of visually knowing and being intuitive, you have to start somewhere where you're setting these numbers or setting these amounts, and then wash, rinse, repeat. Before you know it, then you're at a stage where you don't have to do this anymore. I mean, I could do it myself with some of my meals, but I choose not to. I like to track. I think it's important for a teacher and a leader to track, because we need to be more refined than the average person, because we have to lead by example anyway. So you don't have to do this forever, but it's very important to understand portion sizes for you and the amounts you should be consuming to get you to your goals and also to support optimal health in your body. And that does mean getting uncomfortable for a while. I cannot tell you how many people have misconstrued ideas about the amount they should be eating, and they don't like getting uncomfortable. And a lot of people, when they start working with me, the first week or two is uncomfortable. And we have to push through that. We have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. We all know that. I don't know if anyone's seen that graph with the donkey and the unicorn, uncomfortable kind of graph. And everyone says they want to get uncomfortable so that they can get comfortable. But when push comes to shove, nobody likes feeling uncomfortable. Which is why fasting is a great tool, because fasting can really help you create awareness around hunger, but what's real and what's true hunger as well. But portion sizes. If your portion sizes are too big, you won't get to your goals. You'll be causing more damage than you perceive. You'll also be contributing to inflammation. You also may be further damaging your gut, especially if you've already got other damage like diverticulosis, which I've spoken a lot about, is more common than you believe. I reckon maybe 80% of the population has diverticulosis, but they just have not received a diagnosis yet, but they actually have it. Nearly everyone I work with has some sort of gastrointestinal issue. And then we have the more severe ones like the Crohn's, like the ulcerative colitis, but nearly everyone has gut issues. So if you're stuffing your body with excess amounts of foods, of course you're going to be making those issues a lot worse. You're making your inflammation worse. You're going to be affecting your hormones, your blood sugars, stretching yourself in ways that you shouldn't be stretched unless you're pregnant. It's not just, please do me and you a favor and shake off that notion like, oh, she wants me to restrict my portions so I can restrict my calories and I'm going to be starving and oh my God, this is all terrible. Just shake off that notion. The same with the scales. I always say the scales is a tool. These are tools to educate you so you can get to that place where you're intuitive, where you don't have to track everything. It's important. It's really, really important to know. If you want long-term success, a lot of us do want long-term success, but not all of us are successful in the long term. But one of the traits of being successful in the long term is getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And sometimes it's not fun. Sometimes on a Sunday when I do an extended fast and for whatever reason I'm feeling extra hungry and my family's eating, it's not fun and it takes a lot of willpower and it takes a lot of discipline. But on the other side of that, I'm always glad that I pushed through. I see the benefits, I reap the rewards. So getting uncomfortable is not always a bad thing. And that's it. I'm just going to leave it at that. This is what the idea I wanted to get wise. Let's shake off these associations we have with certain words. They're not always negative and they can be for your benefit. And because I might say something doesn't mean that I want to hurt you or starve you or force a specific action. Generally for me, and like I said, I can't speak for other health professionals, I have taken a lot into consideration. And of course, I understand all the individual characteristics of my clients. So one might have chronic inflammation, one might have ulcerative colitis, one might be dealing with bacteria issues, and that's when I will say certain things like, let's look at your portion. And especially when we look at fat loss, so many people don't understand portion sizes when it does come to fat loss. I mean, sometimes it does take being a bit anal and weighing your food and tracking, and like I said though, after a while you do become intuitive. You don't have to do it again, but it's such a valuable tool. So many people don't understand, one, how many calories are in fat. So many people don't understand how many calories are in keto type recipes, and calories are important. Everything plays a part. Calories, quality, dense nutrition, timing, combinations, everything is important. But so many people, even what you might think is a medium sweet potato, to me might be a large sweet potato because I understand portions better. And to you, a large piece of steak might be completely different to what I think a large piece of steak is. Like, I will consume usually around 200 grams of steak in a meal, whereas most people, they think that 120 grams is normal. So we have misconstrued ideas, and these are very valuable tools. Tracking, watching portion sizes, asking your teacher for help, accepting that this is a learning curve as well. I have to get uncomfortable if I want to get to my goals. This is a learning curve. I accept that. She's not trying to starve me out. So that's it. I hope I got my point across. As always, if you have any questions, reach out to me. Facebook, Instagram, my website, shemainsmodelhealth.com. Here, when I upload this on YouTube, you can also follow some of my other stuff on Rumble if you want to know some other opinions I have on stuff nowadays. But otherwise, I hope you found this helpful and that you understand that me and probably a lot of other health professionals, we're not trying to starve you. We're not trying to make you miserable. We're trying to teach you. We're trying to help you, and we're trying to get you to your goals, because I don't know any health professional that doesn't want to see you be your best. Okay, have a great day, everyone, and I will chat to you all really soon. Bye-bye.